I hope you are all doing well. Happy Sunday to you, a rainy Sunday. So I'm going to go straight to the point. There is something wrong with the R8. I've got her out today to take her into Audi, our local Audi dealer, to have a look what's wrong with the R8. Just before we went to Catalonia, I started the car up, just its usual start up, so the car's battery does not die, but it struggled to start up initially. It sort of like, I twisted the key and it sort of shut itself down. I tried it again and again it struggled to start up again, but on the third try luckily it started up, but it did have the engine management light on. So yeah, I'm not very sure. I've not been dragging the car around. It's pretty much just been in the hangar for a long time, but for some reason it's coming up with this engine management light. Anyway, we are going to be taking the car to Audi today, and we should find out in a couple of days what's wrong with it. Here she is, we are finally in Audi, about to drop the keys. I am gonna miss this baby. So what has actually happened with the Audi R8? Let me tell you. I'd say a week ago now, a week or two, just before we went for Greece, I turned the car on and it would struggle to start up. It would crank, but then I'd say two cranks later it would go toot toot, and then it would shut off. I tried it again, all the electricals were on, but it would not start this time. So I turned it off, I left it for about 5 minutes, and then thankfully it started, but the engine management light was on. At this point I was sort of listening for anything abnormal. I could not hear anything abnormal at all. I did take it for a drive, see if anything feels abnormal. Took it for about a 10-mile drive. Battery was fine, temperatures were absolutely fine, the drive was absolutely fine as well. Nothing felt abnormal, I had no power loss, everything was fine. So at this stage I am absolutely stumped of what is wrong with the car. So I asked around a few people. I hit up Ricky from RE Performance. He has been so helpful throughout, to be fair. I've just been throwing him some random questions and he's been so helpful of getting back to me. So he said get it diagnosed and see what is actually wrong with the car. I have also spoken to Alicia. Her Instagram handle is ERWTTS. I'll put her Instagram handle here somewhere, and she said to actually get a Carista OBD2 reader just so you could see what is actually wrong with the car. So at this point I got it booked with Audi, and I also ordered the Carista OBD2 reader, and then after that we went for a week holiday and that was it. And when I came back I obviously had the Carista OBD reader, plugged the Carista OBD2 reader in, and it was coming up with a lot of faults. It had 29 faults if I can remember. I had a look at it. Some of them I could sort of decipher, some of them I could not, because it was coming up with like the engine, transmission and ABS issues. But looking at it, most of it looked like voltage supply issue. It made sense because the time that I had problem starting the car up. I did leave the car idle for about 2 weeks. I hadn't been able to drive or start the car up for about 2 weeks. On the Carista OBD reader, it did give me the option to clear the errors, but I didn't want to mess around with it. I actually wanted to take it to Audi and see what was wrong with it. So I took it to Audi, as you would have seen, and they sent me some videos of the codes, the errors, and what they thought of the issue was.
Ran the car through complete diagnosis. There's lots of faults logged. A lot of them though are down to actual supply voltage. This can cause all sorts of issues, to be quite honest with you. The fact that engine control units aren't being supplied with the correct voltage can cause you all sorts of problems, and they're all intermittent and sporadic faults at the moment as well, which makes you feel like a lot of this could be down to just supply voltages possibly. The advice I give at the moment is that we erase the faults. I know the car's very low mileage, and it could just be the fact that most of the faults will erase. So what I'll do is erase the faults. I just wanted to show you them before I erase them, and then we'll go from there.
About an hour later, they sent me this video.
We have just carried out a battery test, and 12 volt battery is actually showing up as defective. Look, I wanted to show you this. Also, what I'll just show you while the video is live. So it's just saying replace the battery, basically. That's a 12 volt battery. So yeah, this does need replacing.
And as you can see, they found that my battery was defective. So their action at this point was to get rid of the old battery and put a new one in. So I wasn't actually quite sure if they were able to tell if the battery is not charged sufficiently or if it's actually defective. I thought I'd play it on the safe side and actually just get rid of the old battery and put a new one in, which they did, and they cleared all of the errors, and they pretty much advised me to monitor if the engine management light turns back on. So once I got the text in from Audi that the battery was defective, and then the next form of action was to fully replace the battery, I was scouring through the internet for how much the battery is and that if I can do it myself. So I did a little calculation on how much it would cost me if I did everything myself. So the cheapest battery I could find was this Lion 3-year guarantee for £75, and I had to get this little separator from Amazon to take off the wipers. So I counted that in as well. So it would have cost me at least £111.99 plus the diagnostics, which is 99, which would total 210. And so the mid-range battery was Bosch, costing me 195, plus the separator, which was 231, plus the diagnostics would be £330. So that's how much I thought it would have cost me if I did everything myself. So I phoned them up, how much would the battery cost outright if I just bought it off you and I would fit it all myself. She said that the battery would have cost me $287 from them, which I thought was just a little bit expensive, but she actually mentioned that I can't actually fit it all myself because I needed to code the battery in with the car. So at this stage I had no other choice but to get it done with them. I had a look around on the internet how difficult it would be to remove the battery of the Audi R8. So to answer that question, it was very difficult. So the battery of the battery is located right here. The battery is right there. To access the battery, I would have had to take this panel off, this panel off, this panel off, and this panel off, and then the tub as well. I would have had to take off the 2 windscreen wipers. It is pretty difficult, which I would have had no problem doing. I was happy to have a go. She mentioned that the battery needed to be coded to the car. I did message Ricky from Ari Performance. Thank you again, Ricky. Thank you for being so helpful. And he did say that it did need to be coded. So at this point, I had no other choice. I could have taken it to an Audi authorized dealership, which probably would have been a lot cheaper, but I thought, might as well, let's get it done with Audi. So we have that record with them. So let me now break down with you, you how much they actually charged me. So the diagnostics and the labour cost me £172. The diagnostics was £99, so that means that the labour was around 70 something pounds. And then the battery was £239, and then they also did a little hoover and a wash, which I was not very sure of at first, but the car looked pretty clean, so that's not too bad. So final price is £400, £400 and 94 pence. And on top of that, they also did a full health check of the car, and everything seemed fine. One very funny thing did happen is when I was speaking to the service advisor in Audi, she actually offered, she mentioned to me that my MOT was expiring, which I was very well aware of, and she said that they could do them in Audi for 45 something pounds. So I thought, okay, that's not too bad. So I said yes. Literally minutes later she phoned back and said, Mr. Mancher, I don't think we could do your MOT because the car is too loud. Which I sort of expected anyway. She did say that it is a discretion of the MOT tester to pass it or not. Unfortunately, they could not do that in Audi. So thank you anyway for offering, but yeah, I thought that was quite funny. I kind of expected that anyway. I think that pretty much concludes our video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please click that subscribe button, hit the like button as well while you're at it. It would very much help the channel. Thank you all of you who has been supporting me and been watching my videos. Do appreciate that. And yes, I shall see you on the next one.